Okay, welcome to councillors, officers, and we are expecting some members of the public that don't seem to be here as yet, to the meeting of the council. Please remember to switch off your mobile phones or at least put them on silent. There may be members of the public and press attending virtually. Can I please ask those attending virtually to switch off your microphone to avoid any disruption to the meeting? This meeting is being recorded and will be available in due course on the council's YouTube channel. To ensure that those attending virtually can hear the proceedings and for the recording to capture the entire meeting, please ensure that you wait the microphone and speak clearly into it. Please remember it is formal meetings and therefore do not refer to councillors or officers by their first names. When addressing council, please stand if you are able to do so. There is no fire alarm planned, therefore upon hearing a constant tooting alarm, please leave the building via your nearest marked fire exit and make your way down the stairs to the nearest emergency assembly point, which is the short stay car park. Lifts are not to be used. Please do not take time to pick up personal belongings and leave the building promptly. Please be aware that the contents displayed on your iPad or laptop may be seen by others or members of the public attending the meeting. Therefore, please close down screens which are displaying confidential information during the public part of meetings. Thank you. Apologies, please.
Thank you, Chair. Received apologies from councillors Crabbe, Denton, Lane, Spear, Whitehead and David Knight. And Councillor Bullard is joining the meeting virtually, Chair.
Thank you. Item 2 to approve the correct record of the minutes of the meetings held on the 23rd of April 2025. I have a moved by Councillor Warden, seconded by Councillor Hunt. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 3, Chair's announcements. The first thing I wanted to do is welcome Councillor Loki Dawson to our group. And I wish him the best in his role as a councillor. Okay, the next thing is a rather sad news that we had that Phil Fitzsimmons passed away in the weekend. I think it's been a shock to everybody, staff and council alike, and I thought we would take this opportunity to have a minute's silence to remember him. Thank you. Okay. Item 4, business brought forward by or with consent of the chair. The first one will come as no surprise to any of you. A lot of people are now getting very behind again in their boxfish training. I have been sent figures by Bev as to how many people are behind, but I don't want to start naming and shaming at this meeting, so please make sure you are up to date as soon as possible. Okay, the other thing I would like to talk to you about, to mention, before we go into full council business, is I was very honoured yesterday to attend a community heroes event put forward by North Devon Council associated with South Molton Town Council yesterday at the market at South Molton, where we had 2 very enthusiastic groups from primary schools in South Molton who had completed a Community Heroes poster challenge, which was judged by myself and Councillor Wayne. Councillor Wayne Martin from South North Town Council, Lizzie Mary South Norton. And it's a great privilege to see two groups of young people from the 6 Roofs in Telephone wandering around, really engaging with everything that was there, the County RNLI, Coast Guard, Mountain Rescue, Police, North Devon Council, Fire Brigade and South Norton Town Council, and they engaged in everything. And really, one thing that we took away from that was when they were engaging with North Devon Council, the one thing that all those children, all those young people wanted to see money spent on was homelessness prevention, which I think was a real credit to them. And this gives me real hope that the generation to come really cares about society. Item 5, to consider the following questions submitted by Catherine Armitage to Councillor Ricky Knight. Would you like to come up?
Thank you very much. Good evening. Hi, Ricky. I've known Ricky for quite a while, so which is why I chose to ask him this question, because I know that we both share a love of this beautiful planet that we live on, and I'm sure we all do in this room. So I sent out to Bev here, oh, hi Bev, yeah, this food and farming report, and I don't know. Did everybody get a copy of that? That's great. I have got some hard copies there, and which came as a result of an event that we held near Exeter, with including farmers present. So my question is to Ricky: in view of the information attached, which was compiled as a result of a meeting with farmers and members of the public near Exeter, I would like to ask the following question. With good agricultural land being used for solar panels and geoengineering being carried out in our skies, blocking out the sun, see the government website, geoengineering research, and it's called Solar Radiation Management. Are North Devon District Council considering calling a food and farming security crisis in our region?
Thank you. You mind if I use the same mic?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I want to face back councillors and not have my back to them. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Approaching a full council and submitting a question can be a daunting experience, so full marks to you. Believe me, most of us here find it intimidating. In respect of your question, I will not refer to geoengineering because this appertains to the next question on the agenda. Instead, I will refer to the installation of solar farms on agricultural land and the call for the Farmers Movement Cornwall for councils to declare a food security crisis.
Councillor Knight, sorry, could you speak a bit close to the microphone?
They usually too much. No, I'm not going to sing. It's okay. Shame. But firstly, let me say, I attended the meeting called by 7 Conservatives in Clovelly last year, so I am aware of the issues that concern them. The issues that were aired that evening were critical of local government, of net zero, the vaccination rollout, and as here, how the crisis in farming is being addressed. We were all invited, but I attended as an appropriate representative of North Devon District Council as lead member for climate. As with so many issues nowadays, the siting of solar panels on available land can be divisive. The Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, however, estimates that 87% of the population support solar energy, with 2% opposed. The figure for solar farms on agricultural land is lower, at 77%. But the data crunching maintains quite firmly that solar farms have minimal impact upon food production. Currently, solar farms take up 0.1% of agricultural land. To meet the government's net zero target, the Climate Change Committee estimates that we will need 90 gigawatts of solar by 2050, which would mean solar farms would at most account for approximately 0.6% of UK land, less than the amount currently occupied by golf courses. Solar power is not just the most popular of all the renewable energy options. Its rollout is essential to the government's commitment to wean this country off fossil fuels, achieve net zero by 2050, and stop our reliance upon imported oil and gas. The recent mothballing of the X-Links connection to Morocco's concentrated solar power exemplifies this commitment. I cannot imagine this council's planning office allowing a solar farm to be built on high-grade agricultural land. It has to be added that many farms are desperate to diversify in an attempt to remain solvent. Land is the most valuable asset. If you own it, you're sorted. So allowing turbines or solar panels onto your land is a very welcome solution to insolvency. Actually, I'm going to break from script here because today's been quite a busy day with farmers and landowners for me and several of my colleagues. Firstly, this morning's planning site visit, and I then went on to the solar panel farm just up 361. You can see it from the moon apparently, and talked to the landowners there because I needed to ascertain whether or not what I thought was the truth was indeed, from their point of view, the truth. Namely, firstly, the panels were on low-grade agricultural land. It's a big instruction. Secondly, his sheep graze quite happily underneath. Thirdly, it's a wildlife even under the panels. And fourthly, he said he really loved the income from it. The sad thing added to that was it plays a very good farming. That's one of the things that breaks a lot of hearts. Okay, I could say more about that actual enormous solar panel farm, but not now. Now, turning to the two-sided pamphlet that we've all seen, you are knocking at an open door. No one in this room can argue against many of those boss concerns on the leaflet. But no council could be more unequivocally supportive of our farmers than this one, as has been illustrated on several past occasions. In my defeated motion to council last year, let me just reiterate this from my supporting speech. This council is committed to supporting North Devon's farming community, as illustrated by the expert panel we welcomed here on the 23rd of May last year. British farmers are indeed the very best. Their commitment to husbandry, landscape, and quality food production sets a standard that few other countries can even get near to. But their livelihoods have been adversely affected by a series of issues. Sorry about the list, but bears listening to the CAV, the camp, Brexit, COVID, the war in Ukraine and elsewhere now, labour shortages, biodiversity loss, pressures of diversification, spasmodic government grants and subsidies, degradation of the soil, offsetting, rewilding, the stranglehold of supermarkets, the fluctuations in the international markets, food security, intensive farming, and all this is now exacerbated by the uncertainties of how indulging this US president and the subsequently poorly regulated US food imports is going to impact. We're being asked to consider the 7 points on the reverse, and to support the call to declare a food security crisis. In conclusion, you'll be pleased to hear, I would say in conclusion that we are in a perfect storm of multiple crises. Sorry about another list, but it's true. In terms of what we as councillors and as human beings have to keep in mind. There's crises in water, fuel poverty, the cost of living, housing, migration, the NHS, schools and education, the economy, mental health, homelessness, and clearly farming. That's the start of the 10. Now, there are some very wise colleagues here in this room, and not present here, but who are much more informed about farming than I. To progress such a course of action as you ask, Catherine, has to be in the remit of the Policy and Scrutiny Committee. So once again, thank you for taking the time to come to this meeting with your question.
Do you have supplementary questions?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ricky Knight. Yes, so you mentioned the Scrutiny and Policy Committee. What would it take to bring that to Scrutiny and Policy Committee and the call for a food and farming emergency crisis? And would you consider the gunning principles, which are the principles of consultation, which need to be looked at if that was going to be brought to scrutiny?
Sorry, Councillor Knight, we have got something to answer now. Your Councillor Knight will send you a response.
Sure.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you everybody for listening. I didn't feel like Daniel in the lion's den tonight.
As I can explain, the period that we have under the Constitution for the questions is limited to 15 minutes. So to be fair to the second question, that's why the chair has had a bit of response to that supplemental question when we find it.
Thank you. If I could ask, could I ask Liz Walker to come and put your question to the council, please?
Right, there is a bit of overlap here, I'm afraid. The question is regarding geoengineering of weather, now called solar radiation management. I think if they change the name often enough, we won't notice what's going on.
So we're rapidly running out of time. Could you just answer the question, please?
Florida has now passed a bill to protect Floridians from geoengineering and weather modification. But government will not engage, saying it's a conspiracy theory. However, they do state on their website that they use geoengineering. Tennessee is also. Farmers and gardeners experience reduced seed germination and slow growth. The USA and UK patents detailing noxious chemicals for cloud seeding are legal documents and available to you online. Marie Chrysler, a research scientist, found under electron microscopy.
Sorry, simple question.
This question is as written in our document.
It's coming. Oxygen, silicon in large amounts, calcium, sodium, magnesium, tungsten, bromine, aluminium, strontium, platinum, carbon, zirconium, tellurium, nitrogen, tungsten, phosphorus, sulfur, molybdenum, and radon. Many of them are radioactive. Please can you now, as individuals and as councillors, take direct action to protect us all and support the petition, make all forms of geoengineering affecting the environment illegal. And that's, I don't know if you can see it, taken from my
I know, ask Councillor Payne.
Sorry?
Sorry, please ask Councillor Payne.
Can I say, first of all, thank you for putting the question in and giving us notice for the question. I'll try and keep this pretty short, there's no short thing. As far as the petition is concerned, you must be aware that the petition is now closed anyway. It was debated in Parliament in June. And so, I can't really comment on the petition as such. I will say that the council does not support what was said in the petition. I'm no expert in this. I'm not going to waffle through geoengineering because I don't actually understand it. I don't understand the actual physics and chemistry and science behind it. However, it's complicated. What is simple is that there's climate change going on. And you shake your head as a denier. What
I'm
really,
not saying climate change isn't.
well, you were shaking your head when I said that, so I beg your pardon, but it seems as though you were denying it.
Do we know?
There are many people, just like to finish quickly, there are many people who advocate what you've said, who are climate changes and climate change deniers, and you must know that. And, you know, that gets on my nerves because there's nothing more dangerous to this world now than climate change. And if anything can be done to counter that, then we must try. Look at the summer we've just had and still having. Look at the winter that we have. Look at the state of our environment. And people who say, oh, we're spending too much money on it. No, we're not. We're not spending enough on it. We're not spending enough to get rid, if possible, and get to net zero. People are criticising it. Main political parties are criticising our net zero commitments, and they are wrong. Reform are wrong. The Conservatives are wrong because it should not be allowed to become a cultural war. It is important to our generation, to our future generations, to our grandchildren, that something is done to combat climate change. So I'm sorry, but I don't have any sympathy with all the climate change deniers goes alongside.
I'm not a climate change denier. I'd like to see the issue out in the open. Lots of science.
I'm very sorry, but we are rapidly running out of time, so we
The layer in the sky could be a blanket keeping the heat in. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have something maybe first one?
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Guardian had
Sorry, it's a question, not a statement.
has anyone seen in the Guardian newspaper some time ago that the Linton and Lynmouth flooding was caused by cloud seeding? Yeah. So it's been going on.
We don't know that.
Sorry, councillors, could I ask that we don't respond to that, we'll put a response in writing.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we move on to item?
Thank you.
You will get a response, right?
Yeah.
Consider motions of which notice has been submitted by members in accordance with Part 4, Council Procedure Rules, paragraph 11 of the Constitution for Council Seat none. Item 7, declarations of interest.
Received, Madam Chair.
Item 8, Chair replies to any questions to the Council by members submitted under Part 4, Council Procedure Rules, paragraph 10 of the Constitution. To consider the following question from Councillor Coombs to the leader. I'm assuming everyone's read. Let's read it out. Sophie.
It's great to see that North Devon Council Hub remains is now open with 5 days a week access. Are you able to provide us with some initial feedback? What's the footfall been? Can you give us an idea of the range of issues customers are coming in for? It's great to see that it's got an open plan feel. Can you advise if there is private space for consultation? Thank you.
I'm going to apologise now, Councillor Coombs, because thank you for noticing the question. I had an answer, I wrote an answer out, and I've left it the plain thing as false. However, thank you for notice of that. Absolutely. The new one-stop hub, I'm referring to it, has been a tremendous success. I will provide you with the written figures and provide them to all members as well. There are private rooms that can be used. The feedback so far from the members of the public has been fantastic. The footfall going into the shopping centre has been greatly increased by its presence. Let's hope that continues. Certainly compared to where we were before, around the back, that didn't know about, it's much better. And of course, it's now open so much longer and so much more accessible. So if any councillors here want to have a private meeting with the constituents, then they can do so. Thank you very much, Councillor Webb. I shall really hope to another response. During the first 3 weeks of the hub being open, we saw approximately 300 customers a week coming in for help and advice. On average, an average of 60 customers per day. Previously at Linton House, when we were open 3 days a week, we would see 100 to 120 customers, an average of 35 per day. Staff are also receiving multiple compliments on a daily basis from customers on the improved location facilities, and I can vouch for that. That is actually going on, and we've got some smiling faces and lots of people there. The interactions with the new hall have been for a whole range of services, including council tax benefits, parking, housing, environmental health, art, waste and recycling and planning. One of the problems we have as district councillors, which LDR will get rid of, is we get casework and questions, and we don't know how they don't know the Devon County. Well, this is one way of signposting through Devon County, so that's good as well. There are rooms available for any customers who wish to speak with NDC staff in a private space. It has cost a bit of money, yes, but it's been well worthwhile and it's there now for the future. So I'm really, really pleased. I'm so glad we've done it, and thanks to all the officers who've been involved in bringing that to fruition. I think it's a great success that we should all applaud. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the staff who working in the new hub. They're doing a great job. Question item 8, or item 9, to agree the agenda between part A and part B, confidential restricted information, there is no part B. So item 10, report of the lead of the council. Do we have any questions for Councillor Clegg? Yeah. Councillor Jones.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie, for forwarding the letter received from Minister McCall. In that was a slightly concerning part where they talked that we may be forced to move back to a leader and cabinet format. We're really keen to seek your assurance that we'll continue to support cross-party working in the way that we have done under our more democratic cabinet system.
Absolutely, we'll continue in that vein. It's a great point to force this on us in our way at the moment. Probably won't be done until the yard comes through.
I think I'm right in saying that. So we'll continue as districts in the way we're operating. I think it does work across party. I don't know why we've done this, because I just don't understand the rationale behind it. It's going to become more efficient decision-making body, but very often it leaves power with just one group and very little scrutiny that goes on that because I've seen experience both sides, and this is the better one.
Thank you.
Councillor Mabbott.
I know what's coming, but yeah, I've warned you.
Obviously we had a few conversations, emails about using this in Braunton. That's I think it's for 25 affordable and 4 shared ownership. Councillor Liz Spear originally sort of got me involved in this. They had planning about 18 months ago to start the work, and speaking to Jamie Jays recently, they're going through a viability study because of the affordability of what they're doing, and I just sort of like to just find out a little bit what's happening and why it's not being done. Having sold a couple of properties in Croyd and properties in Braunton, and I sort of roughly picked up what they would have had from those sales. It's close to 2 million, I think, from the sales. So it's just to make sure that this does go ahead and that it's not going to be another 2 or 4 years with the planning commission before anything's done on an empty property of wanted affordable homes.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Maddox. I spoke to you recently about this and you sent me the email and I've spoken to Jamie Jays about it at the length and she sent me an extensive email. I won't give you a full answer right now in public, but we were going to bring this up at the partnership meeting, but that had to be cancelled. It's been put back. So we will do that. We will keep on top of it. I will endeavour to let you know everything that happens in an open and transparent way. From what you said, it has been disappointing. It's gone on for so long, but we'll get to the bottom of it. And you want to come along and address the meeting, I'm sure that will be okay as well. Right, I'm sorry I can't give you more of an answer right now, because this was only the last couple of days, and I've been in Exeter. These things, that's one of the reasons why it's cancelled or postponed. Is that okay for now?
Sorry. I can give Councillor Maddox a full response. I'll email you later. Sorry.
Can you copy me in?
Councillor Wilkinson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Leo, for your report. It was quite exciting that I was away, so I couldn't make it, but the inaugural meeting of the Waste and Recycling Group. Do I just make a request, please, that you include on all future agendas the need to look at what other council resources are being used for the collection of domestic waste from Airbnb and holiday properties, rather than them using trade waste. It is a drain on our resources financially and manpower.
Oh, thank you for the question, Councillor Wilkinson. I did say in the report that it was last Friday, I think, when we had the meeting.
Yes.
Last Friday. And I did say that I'd give a little bit of feedback. That we just mentioned did come up quickly, and we said it will prioritise it and put it on the agenda the next time. But just generally, I thought it was a really good meeting, and a whole lot of people who attended, and it really is open to anybody. We said initially two from each group, but I think any councillor is interested in upping our recycling rate will be very welcome. And there's already been some very good pertinent points. Councillor Maskell put something online today, which covered, I think, mentioned what you just brought up, Councillor Wilkinson, along with some other ones. Things like the roping system that we've got, or the netting system, I should say, over the waste, cardboard and plastics to stop rubbish falling in the streets. We've got to do more in that area. We have to increase the recycling. One of the things I mentioned was the very fact that, the soft plastics, we did an experiment in our house, two of us, because usually our soft plastics has gone, unfortunately, into the bin. And in the amount, I'm talking about, certain level of food packaging and crisp packaging things. I'm not saying it's a lot of crisp, but you probably think I do, but it's true. And just collecting them up 2 weeks, massive amount. And the sooner that comes in, that's one good thing the Labour government are doing, it's forcing the council to do that. But for example, we need to give people, residents, notice that in places like Tesco and Sainsbury's, you can take them along. So take a bag full of your plastics and put it in. I know there's a problem with it, but I'd rather see that than it burn in an incinerator. There's lots of little incremental changes we can do. As far as the big changes are concerned, we could go up to 3 weekly, 4 weekly, or the bin. That would bring our recycling up massively. But in proximity to LGR and waiting to see what the council will do when we get our unitary, whatever shape that comes in, we decided as a group that at the moment we'll put that to one side and concentrate on the smaller steps we can all do. And I say smaller steps, they are pretty fundamental, pretty big that we can do. One of these using the media unit in the council to encourage and educate as many people as possible. Perhaps getting some recycling officers out in the community and going around educating people. These are something that I want to see done. So I think I don't think there's any opposition to any of these things, but obviously some things cost money as well, so we'll have to find it in the budget. So thank you, Councillor Wilkinson, and we will prioritise what you said at the next meeting.
Councillor Greenhouse.
One of the things you mentioned in your report is the improvements to our scrutiny arrangements, presumably made in part reaction to the local government association's review of our governance arrangements. I was wondering whether you personally were in favour of more of the recommendations being implemented, such as not having members of the Policy and Scrutiny Committee that are also on statutory resources and chaired Policy and Scrutiny Committee by a member other than a member of administration.
Generally, yes, I'm in favour of that. And whilst I'm speaking, can I also thank Councillor Trinos for the sterling work that you did as filling in the chair, Councillor Liz Spear, over last year. So thank you for that. But yeah, generally I'm in favour, and I think it's a very good thing that we've taken on board the main one, which is producing more internal scrutiny of the policy committee, because I think that is what leads to a good, efficient council, and everybody is kept on the toes, myself included. The members can be invited along, officers can be invited along, and we can, effectively scrutinise different areas that the council is responsible for, on top of all the extra scrutiny that goes on for outside bodies like the dentistry one, the farming one, maybe someone on health. So I think there's a combination there. To answer your specific question, yes, I'm generally in favour of seeing those inputs.
Councillor Houston.
Sorry. I have a question. No Wi-Fi. This is
Item 11, questions by members. No questions have been received. Item 12, performance and financial management of quarter four. Yeah, are there any questions on the report that has been circulated? Just say that the format of the report is really easy to read. So item A, report the Policy Development Committee to receive the report of the Policy Development Committee held on the 10th of July 2025. Okay.
Yes, happy to move to the recommendations there, Chair, and echo your words. The quality of the reports kept us and the ease of which is outside for you.
No, thank you. I move the recommendations as on papers. But echo your words where the quality of the two reports and the ease of following are very helpful and make it really easy for us to scrutinise and ask questions. Thank you.
Councillor Lever.
Very much, Chair. I'd like to second the report, but I think I'd also like to say that there's been some criticism of the external scrutiny work that Policy Development Committee has done. And to my mind, the work that we on the committee have done in terms of looking at dentistry, most recently at health services and
sorry, Councillor, could we bring this in when we
yeah.
do the full minutes rather than the minutes that go with the
Okay, all right.
Item B, Councillor Clayton, please. Item 12.
I'll move the recommendation forward.
Thank you. All those in favour? We haven't got a second of that one, sorry. No, that's fine, Councillor Warden. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 13, again, the annual Treasury Management Report, 2024-25, report by head of government, which came to Strategy and Resources on 27th of July. Are there any questions on that report? Again, fantastic to hear the interview before. Councillor Beeman.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, happy to move the recommendations as set out by papers.
Councillor Caroline Lever. And Councillor Clayton for item B.
Again, Mr. Walker.
And seconder, Councillor Tobbs. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 14, appointment to committees for 2025-26. Item 8 is the chair, vice chair of the Policy Development Committee. This is following the resignation of Councillor Liz Spear as chair of the Policy Development Committee to consider the appointment of the chair and vice chair of the Policy Development Committee for 2025-2026 municipal year. And before we go into this, can I just say a big thank you to Councillor Spear for all the work that she's done up until now. Thank you. Okay, do we have any nominations, please?
Can I propose Councillor Peterman as chair? And in doing so, can I echo your sentiments regarding Councillor Liz Spear and thank her for all the work she's done, and also formally again to thank Councillor Petrinos for stepping in on the last 12 months. But formally, can I support nominate Councillor Peterman as chair of policy?
Do we have a second? Councillor Warden. Okay. Are there any other nominations? No? Can we take this to the vote then? All those in favour? Thank you. Okay. And we now seeking a vice chair policy development, Councillor Crabs.
Chair, I'd like to nominate Councillor Peter Jones. Sorry, I'd like to nominate Councillor Peter Jones. We'll keep Frank on his toes. And I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of the work that the Independent Green Group have done in the policy process over the last 2 years. To echo what the leader has said, let's hope we can carry on working together because we've done a lot of good work, and it just proves that cross-party working can achieve what we do, putting North Devon people first. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So I have a second now. Councillor Beekman. Are there any other nominations? No, all those in favour? Thank you. 14B is membership of the Policy Development Committee to consider the appointment of Councillor Dawson to replace Councillor Peter Lever on the Policy Development Committee for the 2025-26 municipal year. This is to help what Councillor Peter said earlier about members of SMR and also being on policies. And Councillor Jones, the second. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 15, outside body appointments, the North Devon Highways and Traffic Orders Committee. It is recommended that Councillor David Knight be appointed to replace Councillor Bell, who is now on committee as Devon County Councillor. On the North Devon Highways and Traffic Orders Committee for the Library Council, and the end of the new are being approved usually. Have a proposal. Thank you. Councillor Warden, seconder. Councillor Tops. If all is in favour. Thank you. And item B is the North Devon Biosphere. Following the resignation of former Councillor Stevenson, it's recommended that Councillor Caroline Lever be appointed to the North Devon Biosphere for the Library Council, and the dependents meeting should be an approved duty. Councillor Norman, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Bell, thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 16, annual report of the work of the Policy Development Committee. Councillor Bicknell.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Again, I want to recruit members of the I'm a bit of John come late to the committee, but it's a good opportunity for me to thank Liz in particular. And as I said at the policy meeting, we all wish her a speedy recovery. Hopefully, she will be back with us at some point, and she can take over reins again. Maybe. But yeah, so I'll leave it there. And again, others said about Councillor Troops. He's done. Yeah, just make the report to the council.
Thank you very much. Yeah, do we have any questions on the report or comments? Councillor Peter Lever.
As I was saying, I mean, I've been on the Policy Development Committee for a year or so now, and I must admit, when I first came on, I was really sceptical about the external scrutiny work that we do. But I mean, my mind has been changed completely on that. I think that as first of all, I mean, it's a magnificent example of cross-party working, and it's just a fantastic example of what a committee structure can do. And I think Councillor Jones is right that moving to a cabinet system, I think we really run the risk of losing that consensus in local politics. And if we are forced to move into that, then I think we really have to be very aware of that and try and keep that that character of cross-party working going. I think that as local councillors, we are the people who are closest to our communities. We are the contact that local communities have with politics, and I think it's absolutely vital for us to understand the range of issues that are concerning people. And we're not just pigeonholed. I know it's canvassing tonight, and the casework that I got was to do with Devon County Council, to do with the MP, to do with the Royal Family one of them. And these are the things that we get in our inbox, and we have to understand those issues. And we have made a difference. The Council of Bullets facilitated a piece of work on agriculture. That has made a difference to the way that we deal with the farming community in our planning practice. The work that's been done on dentistry, our dentistry scrutiny, actually has led to our MP setting up a cross-party working group in Parliament and will lead to changes in national policy. And I can go on, so I won't. But I'd like to say that that particular part of the work that the Policy Development Committee has done is, I think, is very important and is much to be commended about the work of this council. Thank you.
Yeah, clarification. Council League just explained to us
What casework on poultry he received about the wrong family?
It's confidential to that. I'll say
Okay, item 17, minutes of committees. I'll be happy to take these on block. Councillor Wharton has moved. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Katrina, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. And that is the end. Thank you very much.